The Hidden Enemy, a story of true friendship and trust in Allah. Ahmed had thousands of friends, but one enemy changed everything. Who can you truly trust? Watch how he discovers the shocking truth about friendship, betrayal, and the wisdom of Hazrat Ali, may Allah be pleased with him. Ahmed was a young man in his late 20s, living in the bustling streets of Lahore. Everyone who knew him admired his charm, intelligence, and the way he could make friends easily. From colleagues to classmates, neighbors to shopkeepers, Ahmed had hundreds, perhaps thousands, of people who would greet him warmly. Yet, he always felt an invisible emptiness, a subtle question lingering in his heart. Do they truly care for me? Or am I just part of their life convenience? One evening, as he walked home from the university, he remembered a quote from Hazrat Ali. He who has 1,000 friends has not a friend to spare, and he who has one enemy will meet him everywhere. Ahmed had read it many times, but that night, it hit him with unusual clarity. He realized that while he had so many friends, he had never experienced the depth of a true bond, a bond that would withstand trials, betrayals, or tests of faith. Ahmed's closest circle included his college friend Faraz, a reliable and honest young man, and Faraz's cousin, Salman, who had joined them recently. Together, the three spent their days in laughter and companionship, sharing dreams, ideas, and even secrets. Ahmed felt a rare sense of belonging with them. Yet, there was another person in Ahmed's life who brought unease, a co-worker named Imran. A competitive soul, Imran always seemed to shadow Ahmed's success. At first, Ahmed dismissed it as harmless rivalry, but over time, he noticed subtle slights, cold glances, and whispered remarks. One night, Ahmed had a dream. In the dream, he walked through a vast desert, and everywhere he went, he saw shadows following him. These shadows whispered secrets he had never heard, revealing betrayals he hadn't imagined. The desert was endless, but the shadows seemed to multiply, and among them, one figure loomed larger than the rest. It was Imran. Ahmed awoke in a cold sweat. His heart raced. The dream was vivid, almost a warning. The next morning, Ahmed confided in Faraz. I had this strange dream, he said, and I feel like there's danger close, someone I don't expect. Faraz listened carefully, his eyes serious. Ahmed, he said, sometimes the danger isn't in who you see, but in who pretends to see you with kindness. Remember the words of Hazrat Ali, R.A. One enemy, and you feel their presence everywhere. Be cautious, my friend. Weeks passed, and Ahmed's life seemed to continue normally, yet tension simmered beneath the surface. He began observing his friends more carefully, noticing patterns he had overlooked. A delayed response to a message, a subtle hesitation when sharing news, a fleeting smirk when Ahmed spoke of a promotion. All seemingly innocent, but they gnawed at his trust. Then came the event that changed everything. Ahmed's company was about to announce a critical promotion. It was a role that Ahmed had worked tirelessly for over 3 years. On the day of the announcement, Ahmed received an anonymous email claiming he had been sabotaged. Confused and alarmed, he confronted Faraz and Salman. Both seemed shocked, but Ahmed sensed hesitation in Salman's eyes. Ahmed, I don't know who would do this, Salman stammered. Maybe someone at work? Days later, Ahmed uncovered the truth. Imran had manipulated records and spread false rumors, attempting to ruin Ahmed's reputation. It was a crushing blow. The young man Ahmed had considered a colleague, a fellow traveler in life, had become his enemy. But Ahmed also realized another bitter truth. Betrayal could also come from those closest to you if your trust was blind. He had to distinguish between genuine friends and those who merely shared laughter without loyalty. It was then that Ahmed turned to the Quran and Hadith for guidance. He found solace in the words of Allah. And keep yourself patient by being with those who call upon their Lord in the morning and evening, seeking his face, and let not your eyes pass beyond them, desiring adornments of the worldly life. Surah Al-Kahf 18:28. He understood that true friends were those who reminded him of Allah, who brought him closer to goodness, who were honest in both joy and sorrow. Ahmed's journey to rebuild his life and trust was not easy. He distanced himself from superficial friendships and focused on cultivating bonds rooted in sincerity, kindness, and faith. Faraz remained his steadfast companion, a mirror of loyalty in a world full of masks. Together, they navigated the trials of life, helping each other through failures, heartbreaks, and challenges, always grounding themselves in prayer and trust in Allah. But Ahmed also learned the value of caution and discernment. He realized that enemies could lurk anywhere, even in the most familiar places, and that one enemy, as Hazrat Ali, R.A., said, could shadow you endlessly. He became vigilant, not paranoid, balancing his heart between compassion and wisdom. Months later, Ahmed saw Imran's schemes unraveling. Imran's manipulations were exposed, and the very people he sought to harm now turned away from him. Ahmed forgave Imran quietly, in his heart, understanding that ultimate justice rests with Allah. He did not seek revenge, but allowed the natural order and divine wisdom to take their course. Ahmed's life transformed. He had fewer friends, yes, but each friendship was a treasure, a source of strength, guidance, and unwavering support. He learned to measure friends not by their number, but by their character and their commitment to truth and faith. His enemies still existed, but they no longer haunted him. He learned to navigate life with discernment, patience, and reliance on Allah, understanding that every encounter, whether with friend or foe, was a lesson. One evening, Ahmed sat by the riverbank, reflecting on his journey. The waters mirrored the sky, calm and endless, much like the patience he had cultivated in his heart. He whispered a prayer. "O Allah, grant me friends who remind me of you, enemies who test me with wisdom, and a heart steadfast in your guidance." A sense of peace washed over him. He realized the depth of Hazrat Ali's, R.A., words. Life was a delicate balance of trust, caution, and faith, where one true friend could change your path, and one enemy could teach invaluable lessons. As the sun set, Ahmed felt gratitude, clarity, and hope. He had learned to navigate the intricate web of relationships with wisdom, courage, and unwavering faith in Allah. And in that moment, he understood the ultimate truth. Whether surrounded by thousands of friends or shadowed by one enemy, life's journey is beautiful when walked with sincerity, patience, and trust in Allah's plan. If you found Ahmed's journey inspiring, hit like, subscribe, and share this story. Discover more thrilling, emotional, and life-changing Islamic stories on deeninminute. Every story will teach you wisdom, faith, and lessons from our beloved Quran and Hadith.